to come. There are incentives and rebates available to most people who install solar energy, too. Last year, the federal solar tax credit increased to a 30% tax credit. This incentive can be used in combination with other incentives from your utility, county, or city. But don't delay or miss out, as many of these incentives are limited to only a certain number of people. So have a professional from All Energy Solar help you discover how solar can power up your property while saving on your energy costs. Call 800-620-3370 or visit allenergysolar.com.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Increasing clouds tonight with an overnight low of 65. Then Wednesday, a chance of showers and thunderstorms with a high of 88. Fill the hot summer nights with the hottest music in the Twin Cities at Crooner Supper Club in Fridley. Crooners is located just north of I-694 off Highway 65. View their schedules and food menus at croonersloungemn.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story. This is our story. This is Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken.
And this is Ghostbox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakken, and thank you very much for joining me tonight. Now, we got to start this episode with a very real question. We're gonna be serious here for a second and ask a very real question that I'm hoping that folks who are in the chat on the Facebook Lives and whatever are able to answer. Give me your opinion, because it's very important. And that question is, what kind of candy bar should I get tonight after the show? Because I'll tell you, I didn't go to Quick Trip last night afterwards, and that was good, but I'm feeling like chocolate. So if you have an idea of what I should get after the show tonight, I would greatly appreciate it, but it has to have chocolate in it. If it's ice cream or something else that you have in your mind, I would be happy to hear your thoughts on that, but it has to have chocolate in it, please. Okay? So let's get that out of the way. I mean, like I said, it's very important. I'm glad that you all are, very, listening to what I have to say and are being very attentive to it, because this is very important stuff. I'm hungry for chocolate, and I'm not quite sure what to get. So definitely make sure that you can put it into the comments, please. And I love the fact that Katie put down there already. We're getting some responses. $100,000. Do they even make those anymore? Oh my gosh. I never had. It was just like when I was in Kentucky visiting Denise and Ernie Pack. I went to their, they had a little convenience store up the road, and they had a chunky bar. You remember those chunky bars? Like the big chocolate block. It really is a block with raisins in it. And I know people might be like, oh, it doesn't sound too good. I love them, but we can't get them up in Minnesota. I haven't seen them, at least. And, I could get them off of Amazon, pay $30 for 100 of them. Do I really need 100 chunky bars? Probably not. I mean, my body, I mean, it's great to have a candy bar named after my body, but nevertheless, I don't think I need all that. So keep it coming, folks. But also tonight, I want you all to interact with our guest tonight, because this is an area that I'm a big proponent for. As far as my paranormal investigating goes, the area that I focus on is ITC, and that means intertransmental communication, basically meaning that any electronic device that speaks to you is that's spirit is an ITC device. And I use Spirit Box. The name of the show, Ghostbox Radio. Ghostbox is another term for Spirit Box. There are different sort of apps and other things that are made to, to be able to reach out to spirit. And, I have never been a big fan of apps except for a couple. And who we're going to talk to tonight, he is the exception. And I'm really excited to be able to talk with him. Daniel Roberge is the head of Big Beard Studios, and he's the creator of the EchoVox, which is an app to reach out to spirits. And it goes off of a different way of communicating than a spirit box. But he also makes other paranormal apps we're going to talk to tonight. I really wanted to be able to have this conversation. It's a conversation close to my heart as a paranormal investigator. So, Daniel, welcome to Ghostbox Radio.
Hey, Greg. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much for being on tonight. Now, folks, if you have questions, please put them in the chat. We are streaming live on Facebook on AM 950 Radio, Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken, Things Network. Please put your comments and questions in there. Daniel will be happy to answer anything. One of the things, Daniel, that comes with the EchoVox is that it's a completely different way of communicating than say any other spirit box, say like an SB7 or something like that. What is the EchoVox based off of?
The Echo, which is based on a real-time recording.
So it's a recording. Is it a recording of, like, if I'm using it's a recording of me?
Yeah, it's a real-time loop of the recording that's happening. So what comes out of the speaker is playing what was written onto the disc, and then it cycles back through again and again and again and again.
And from there, when you're doing this echo, is that like what prompts spirit to be able to take that, to manipulate it, to give an answer to us?
Well, I'm no scientist or anything, so I haven't developed like a classification system, but there's different types of responses. There's regular old EVP that just happen, and they're whispers or help, and the same things that you might get just on a regular standard EVP session. And then there's others where they take the syllables or the sounds that are kind of floating in the soup of the echo, and they'll take something that didn't come out in that order and put it in the order to form a word or a short sentence. So, the syllables are getting spit out randomly, but they end up through the cycle of getting, through the microphone and then out through the speaker and back and forth and back and forth. The timing between all the samples it's totally random. I mean, the mathematics of it are crazy, and to have it line up so it says something is even crazier.
That is crazy. And when you created the EchoVox, were you? It sounds an odd question to ask, but I feel like I have to ask it. Were you a skeptic, or were you full on that spirits respond using different devices?
Well, I had already been messing around for like maybe 6 months or something with like developing apps, starting with this one called SpiritVox. And then I worked up and I made one that was like almost like EchoVox, but without echo, and it just spit out syllables and things like that. And then I made a real-time recorder, and it wasn't until I used the real-time recorder with the thing that spit out the syllables and had it plugged into a speaker, that the whole thing kind of came together to make that. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, no, it does. And I got a couple questions on here, which I'll get to mainly in the second segment. But I just wanted you to answer this one real fast from Linda. And Linda just says, so let's just say that Greg is using the EchoVox. Will the ghost speech come out sounding like Greg?
No.
So it's going to manipulate. It's manipulating the syllables, as you said, to create the answer that you want it to answer. But is it only going to be able to answer using the syllables that are on that recording then?
No. Those are, the type of captures where if it says something obvious that doesn't fit into the sound bank, that, especially if you're used to the sounds, it jumps out at you. And I've found that, your voice is going to get picked up into the loop, and and all that's going to happen is it's just going to get chopped up and spin around with everything else, so if that happens to turn into a word, then that's kind of a miracle in itself,
It is. And so from my use of the Echovox, what it always seems to me to be where it's like your echo, say that I say, is somebody here right now? It starts echoing within itself. It kind of creates, and the way I look at it, it kind of creates a cloud of echoes. Like it just kind of starts reverting into itself. And then an answer will come through, but it's very separate from that echo sort of like pond that is kind of created.
Right. It's like a fresh sound.
Sense. Yeah, exactly. And and some people are on here going like, yeah, that would be a miracle. And I mean, I guess that's kind of the point of all of this paranormal equipment is that it is all a bit of a miracle. I'm running a little late here, so why don't we do this? Because I'm getting into this conversation. Let's take our first break. When we come back, we're going to continue this. This is going to be a fun hour. Keep the questions coming. Maybe you'll even try using the box a little bit during the show, and maybe even play some evidence. You're listening to Ghostbox Radio on AM 950.
Hi, Matt McNeil for Rudy Luther Toyota. You've heard me talk about the Rudy Luther Toyota We Buy program. Now hear from someone who's actually done it, me. Our kids' car, the 2006 Toyota Sienna, served us well for 17 years, but it was finally time to say goodbye. The We Buy program is really simple. I gave them some basic information, we set up an appointment, and after a quick verification, they gave me an estimate and a check, and they made me a generous offer. It was that fast. See for yourself. Try the Rudy Luther Toyota We Buy program at rudyluthertoyota.com.
The world has changed. Our economy has changed. And now, more than ever, it's important that your retirement savings is set up to generate income, real money in your bank account month after month while still controlling your principal. And that's what we do. We're Ferguson Financial. We set up people for retirement income. Call us today, 888-429-5569, and check out our retirement income program, Sunday mornings at 9.
Hi, I'm Scott Peterson with the Minnesota News Network, inviting you to join us this week for Minnesota Matters, a news, entertainment, and sports show covering everything that matters in the North Star State. Tune us in right here or at your convenience at minnesotanewsnetwork.com.
Listen to Minnesota Matters every weekend, Sunday mornings at 6:30 on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Are you ready to embark on a journey towards taking control of your health and well-being? I'm Candy Broppel, host of Green Tea Conversations. Join me every Sunday at 10 a.m. as I sit down with the local experts who are bridging the gap between mainstream medicine and complementary therapies. Each week, we explore topics in integrative medicine, nutrition, fitness, creative expression, personal growth, and sustainable living. So grab a cup of tea and join the conversation as we awaken to natural health. Visit us at naturaltwincities.com.
If you've made the decision to level your home and build new or to renovate, hire Better Futures Minnesota to take it apart by hand. Think before you scrap. Think of the energy and greenhouse gases saved by diverting what can be reused and recycled from the landfill. Better Futures Minnesota can do it for you. Hennepin County residents and public entities, there are funds available to make the environmentally right thing to do comparable to demolition. Check out betterfuturesminnesota.com. That's betterfuturesminnesota.com.
Hey AM 950 listeners, my name is JP Darbragosian, and I'm the host of This Queer Book Saved My Life, the show where LGBTQ guests share the queer books that saved their lives in conversation with the authors who wrote them. This Sunday, it's a crossover episode with the delightfully queer pop culture podcast, The Sewers of Paris with Matt Baum. I hope you queer folks and allies can join us as we find connection in this mysterious and beautiful queer world of ours. See you every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
And don't forget, we have the question of the week. And the question of the week is, do you believe aliens are actively working with the United States government? You know, these questions are out there. Just want to get your opinion on it. There are no right or wrong answers. Some of these questions are a bit tinfoil hat questions, but at the same time, let's have some fun with it. So if you want to send me a note, let me know what you think. Do you believe aliens are actively working with the United States government? You can send me a note over at comment@ghostboxradio.com. That's comment@ghostboxradio.com. Or you could just put it in the comments of whatever live stream you are taking part in. We are talking with Mr. Daniel Roberge, who Big Beard Studios, creator of the Echovox. We're talking a little bit about that. And also, Daniel, there's a lot of folks on here tonight who are very, very much fans of yours. Katie says, I only use Big Bird, sorry, gosh, time to go to bed. Big Bird technology. Meanwhile, at the Children's Television Workshop. Sorry about that. Well, this is what happens when you sign up for Amateur Hour, Daniel.
I like that.
You know what? I guarantee that is not the last time I shall say that tonight, now that it's out there. Big Beard technology. It's the only real solid communication that I found. That is great. That is really good. We were going to talk a little bit, and I got a lot of questions on here. Do you want to do some questions, or do you want to talk about kind of the evolution of things?
No, I'll take some questions.
Just a couple, and I think there's people like just getting their head around it too a little bit. Katie had wanted to know that what led you to create the Echovox?
Curiosity and lack of funds to buy a radio-based spirit box.
True.
I wanted to go out ghost hunting and do like I saw people doing on TV, but I didn't have the money for one, and so ended up trying to make something, that you could use on your phone. At the time, this is like 11, getting close to 12 years ago. There was no smartphone app for ghost hunting or whatever. Right. It was just Spud Pickles' Ghost Radar was the only thing available way back then. So I had to fight tooth and nail for years to get people to even accept the idea of trying to put it on their phone and give it a shot, because it's just an app. It's just an app, but it's like, hey, your phone has more computing power in it than most people could ever imagine. So, who knows?
And that makes sense. And real fast, Linda asked, is the product available on iPhone? It is, right? Because, I have it on my iPhone. Yeah. So, therefore, it better be. And then, that's the thing we were kind of talking about before the show, was the trying to get people to not think that Echovox is in the same league as Ghost Radar. And I mean that Echovox is far, 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 far more superior than something like Ghost Radar or these, apps that you could download for free, that there is far more to this, that this is an actual piece of paranormal equipment.
I think that it's like a standalone thing. And I think over the last, decade, it's kind of become like, I don't know what the word would be, standard, I guess.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
So, and I'm people are coming to Echovox now that were just little kids 10 years ago. Now they're coming up and they're the ones going out to graveyards and going to the spooky buildings and all that, the 20-something-year-olds. So it's like, so it's new to them, but for them, they have like the way I see it, a solid thing to look at. Like I have a user support group on Facebook that's got a couple thousand people in it. So if you ever have a question or, whatever, you can just go there,
And the thing too is that that's a good thing to having that support group, because I'm going to be honest, the Echovox, you don't just download it and turn it on. You have to set it up. And it's very finicky in the sense that to get the best results, there needs to be a lot of just kind of moving things around till you're starting to get the desired responses that you want.
Yeah, there's a pretty steep learning curve, first of all, and then you have to learn how to control the feedback of the echo almost like a musical instrument. So you have to kind of, like you said, set it up, and sometimes all you have to do is just have your hands between the speaker and the device you're using, and you can kind of cut that echo, the feedback, the squeal down or whatever. So
that's really interesting. I've never tried it that way. I've been playing around with the settings for years. And I feel like that I don't think you're one and done, right? You don't just set it up and you take it everywhere you want to go. Which is why, folks, you are able to make your settings and save those settings.
Right.
And you can do that multiple ways, so that say that that going to some location, this setting worked, you can reload that setting and maybe see if that works for when you return there, right?
Right, exactly.
Katie asked the question, we'll get this in before we go to break again. Does Daniel believe that being a musician makes a significant difference in the ear and how successful you are in your connection?
Being a musician in your ear?
So does believe that being a musician makes a significant difference in the ear itself, like being able to I think translate music, it's kind of a different way of listening, I believe. Does that help get
I see.
better
Yeah,
results?
I see. I think so. Yeah, because you're a more critical listener and you're more able to pick out the sounds. Like when I hear a band play or music play over the radio, I can hear the bass line separate from the rhythm guitar, separate from the lead guitar, separate from the snare drum, separate from the kick drum, all at once, and I think a lot of people that aren't musicians, they don't really hear music that same way. I have to guess that, but
Yeah.
I think that, yeah.
That makes sense. And Katie also says that Katie is my co-host today. Katie says that I've used it for 11 years. I'm just kidding, Katie. I'm very grateful that these are great questions and great responses. I consider the first half of that I was in training, and now I can decipher entire messages filled with solid information. I think that is a true testament. And, I don't use Echovox as much as I should, but I will tell you that when I use like the SB7, people are like, oh, all that white noise and stuff. And I can separate white noise from the communication coming through. Therefore, what Katie is saying there to me makes absolute sense. And that shouldn't deter anybody, because it doesn't mean you're not going to get responses. But what it does mean is that you're able, that you're just going to fine tune your ear as time goes on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fine tune.
Yeah. So that is a great point. Let's do this. Why don't we go ahead? Let's give ourselves another break here. When we come back, we're going to be talking. We're going to try to get some evidence going here and whatnot. But we also want to talk about the Ultravox and other things, and plus more of your questions. You're listening to Ghostbox Radio on AM 950.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces is having their annual sale for the entire month of July. All of their indoor and outdoor fireplace products and accessories are at the lowest price of the year.
Did you know that now there's also a 30% federal tax credit when you install an efficient wood heating stove or fireplace? At Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, we can explain and show you the many options. We have the Twin Cities' widest selection of wood-burning stoves and fireplaces.
I love my wood stove. We enjoy the sense of well-being we get by cutting and splitting wood to warm our home. Wood is our choice, but you may have other choices at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Whether transforming an existing fireplace or adding something new, a clean-burning wood, gas, or electric fire can have you sitting pretty and cozy by the fire.
Visit Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces at Riverside and East Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis or at woodlandstoves.com. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, since 1977, out of the ordinary products and services to make fire work for you.
The NLS Braille and Audio Reading Download Service gives patrons with visual impairments or physical limitations the freedom to read their way.
Bard is this beautiful web-based program for searching for books and for the ability to download them.
It's a great way to have a book with you without carrying a book.
For information about the National Library Service for the Blind and Physically Handicapped Library of Congress, visit loc.gov/thatallmayread.
Hi, this is Chad from AM 950. Snap Construction is arguably the most well-reviewed roofing, siding, window, and insulation contractor in the metro. Ryan is so excited about working with AM 950 and our listeners that he wants to help us grow.
This is Ryan, owner of Snap Construction. I was friends with Chad long before I started marketing with him. I was a bit skeptical of radio advertising before Chad convinced us to run ads. The advertising's been so successful, we want to help the station grow. We've absolutely loved working with the listeners of AM 950, and we all know how extremely important this radio station is to the community. To help AM 950 grow, Snap Construction will be putting up proceeds to assist the station in marketing on social media. Snap Construction encourages you to follow, engage, share, and interact on the AM 950 social media platforms. Together, we can all work to ensure AM 950 continues to thrive and grow in our communities. We stand by our work with a lifetime craftsmanship guarantee. For a free estimate or more information on our financing, call 612-333-SNAP or check us out online.
Hi, this is Ken Hageland, host of Living Healthy and Aging Well, inviting you to listen to our live call-in talk show airing every Saturday from noon to 1, where we talk about your health and your life and provide insights you need to know to live and age well. Each week, we talk with guests who provide answers to important questions regarding healthcare, elder care, end-of-life care, and self-care for caregivers, and help you and your loved ones plan for the future and enjoy your highest quality of life today. Please join us every Saturday from noon to 1 on AM 950 for Living Healthy and Aging Well.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Increasing clouds tonight with an overnight low of 65. Then Wednesday, a chance of showers and thunderstorms with a high of 88. Fill the hot summer nights with the hottest music in the Twin Cities at Crooner's Supper Club in Fridley. Crooner's is located just north of I-694 off Highway 65. View their schedules and food menus at croonersloungemn.com. You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Don't forget, there's still some tickets available if you want to go and meet Dave Schrader at the Anderson House. That's taking place August 18th through 20th. You can get tickets over at charvinity.com. Find the events tab on that page, and that event's going to be there. Just a note, once again, folks, is that the hotel itself is sold out to be able to stay there, but there are places around the area in Wabasha, Minnesota that you can stay at. But like we keep saying, Mr. Schrader has not investigated the Anderson House. This is going to be very cool. We're going to record an episode of Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken the Friday. At first, I thought we could air it that Friday night, but we're going to air it the Monday after I get back. So he'll be a guest on the show. It's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely, please check it out if you're interested. Like I said, there's a few tickets left. We are close to selling out, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We have Mr. Daniel Roberge on tonight. We're talking Big Beard Studios. He's the creator of the EchoVox, but also we're going to talk about the Ultravox. If Daniel, if you don't mind, there's a couple other comments coming through here. There's people are extremely interested in this, and so why don't we do this? Why don't we get to those comments and stuff after we talk a little bit about the Ultravox? Because we've been talking about the EchoVox, but Ultravox is new. How new is the Ultravox?
Like 2 weeks, about 2 weeks it's been out.
Oh, wow. Like brand new then.
Yeah. And I put out another app about 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago called Spirit Talk, and which is like a real simple echo based Ghostbox kind of app, and low cost, and that's for Android. And then about a week after that launched, Ultravox came out, and it's really it's really intense. People that have been using it have been telling me and showing me their results and everything, and it's got a way steeper learning curve, I would think, than EchoVox, just because there's so many different ways to configure it and set it up, and like you can even make your own sound banks and load them up, and it works totally different under the hood from EchoVox. So like it's a totally different lineage. That's why it wasn't something that became an update to EchoVox. It's just like a totally different animal. The way that it scans the audio files for the randomness and everything is so much more precise, and you can adjust it, on the fly as it's happening, or reverse stuff as it's happening. And there's 4 banks like that are basically like 4 little echo boxes built in, and then plus it has reverb, and
it's pretty amazing. I mean, and that's the thing that I'm seeing the comments in here as you're talking about it. This is the next level for. I mean, this isn't plug and play. This is for people who are willing to take the time and fine tune on their end so that they can get the next level of spirit communication, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty intense from my experience with it so far, which has just been testing it, and I test usually in a 5-minute session, and I just do 5 minutes, and so I add them all up, and it's not a whole lot,
Yeah.
But even in that, it's been pretty wild.
When you originally made the EchoVox, when you first developed that, was something like the Ultravox ever even in your mind at that point, or like I want to move to this point at some point, or is it that technology wasn't even there for you to know that the Ultravox is something viable?
I had no idea how to manipulate the audio the way that it is now, how to scan the audio, how to because it's always been about randomness, like a radio Ghostbox is scanning around randomly, and I've always wanted to emulate that with audio chunks or whatever. So that stuff's all random. But now, if you think about it like this, it's like EchoVox is a souped up MP3 player on shuffle. It doesn't have a brain, it doesn't think or anything like that. It just spits out random little files of audio. Well, Ultravox doesn't do that. Ultravox has one string of audio, and it pings that. It jumps over the file and back and forth and through the file and under the file and over the file to grab snippets from what you tell it to grab.
That sounds insane, and I mean that in a good way. I mean, that just seems like, how do you even think about something? How do you even create something like that in your mind to be able to develop that? I mean, where does that even come from?
Just trying to push where it could go next after EchoVox, because I was really trying to think of a way to put out a significant EchoVox update, and it's the old adage of if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
and I didn't want to. I don't want to do that because a lot of times I do an update, and a lot of people will get angry about an update. It's happened more than once. So it's been out. It's it's in its true form now for long enough that I don't really want to mess with it. So that's why there's the Ultravox line is available now.
I think that's a wise move, because there's always that thing about, you know, say that was Echovox, and eventually you'd have to release like an Echovox Classic or something. You know what I mean? To appease people who love the original Echovox. Now, before we get too much further, because I think people are going to be really interested in checking out more of this stuff. What is a way for them to be able to? I'm assuming like, to download the stuff, they go to their app store if the stuff is available on their phone. You mentioned that Ultravox is available on Android, not on iOS yet. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
That's correct. So if you're like me, you're out of luck at the moment. But if someone wants to get an idea of just what this stuff is, just be able to browse and look, so to speak, would your Facebook page be where people should be going for that? Or is there somewhere else we should push them to?
No, I would say, even though the videos are rather old on my YouTube, there's still some really killer videos on there. Especially there's a little movie I made going to Pennhurst, and the evidence from Pennhurst itself is just wild. So it's a little hour-long movie on there, and that's just YouTube. You go on YouTube and search Big Beard Studios, and I should pop right up.
Now, I have 46 seconds of it. Should we play that?
Sure.
All right. And, you know, I always give this a kind of, you're going to hear stuff and you may not be like, oh, that's so clear. And I don't think it's because of the app. You know, this is going through a number of things to get to you. But this is something that Daniel sent to me from Pennhurst. So let's take a quick listen.
I don't hear anything.
All right. So you may not have heard it, Daniel, but it did play.
Oh, I see.
It should have played at least. And for those, and let me know in the comments if it didn't play, because it's showing that it played over on the board. The thing is, it's like, go to the YouTube page and definitely look up Big Beard Studios, because this stuff is really good. It might be hard to hear just through, so people didn't hear it. I apologize for that, folks. I don't know why it didn't come through. It should have, but I do apologize for it. So it was 46 seconds of dead air. It worked better than that, folks. Oh goodness. Well, so such is life. What we'll do then is definitely go to YouTube, look up Big Beard Studios, and check out the Pennhurst, and see what that is, because to me it sounds exactly like what the titles were saying on screen.
Right. No, I mean, this stuff was happening at Pennhurst in a room full of like seasoned paranormal investigators, and they were gasping at the replies coming out of the machine. You could hear the breath leave people as the thing was giving these replies. And all you got to do if you want to watch it is if you just search Echovox versus Pennhurst, like VS, like a boxing match, Echovox versus Pennhurst, and that'll pop up on YouTube. It's definitely a spooky watch for sure.
Yeah, no, it's good, and that's the thing about it, is being able to hear when in that small clip that everyone could not hear, you could really hear the echo working, I guess. That's the best way to say it, because you all were commenting on it while that's being recorded. So you're just adding to it and you're getting more responses.
Right.
No, that is pretty cool. And that is something that needs to be checked out. Now, do you have any preview videos yet for the Ultravox?
On my Facebook page. So if somebody wants to add me on Facebook, you can. It's just my name, Daniel Roberge. I put them on my Facebook, like the 5-minute sessions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on a demo video right now. So.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that'll be really nice. I do find we got about a minute before we go to break again. I do find that Katie had mentioned that your stuff is really at the forefront of the field, but I always feel like, and maybe I'm just because I don't have my finger completely on the pulse, I feel like your stuff gets missed quite a bit. Like a lot of other people are getting like promote their stuff being promoted. I don't see a lot of your stuff getting promoted, and maybe that's not true, but I find that to be a shame.
Well, part of it is I kind of dipped out for about 6 years and haven't really been around and at all. So I just kind of let everything go by the wayside for a little bit. So it's just kind of running on its own steam there.
I see.
For about 6 years.
I had wondered. I had wondered because I hadn't seen you in a while, and now here you are. So that makes a lot of sense. I'm tracking now. I'm with you, Daniel. That's all good. Why don't we do this? Let's take our last break. When we come back, we're going to finish our conversation with Daniel Roberge and talking about Echovox, Ultravox. We got some more questions. We got a lot to get through too. You're listening to Ghostbox Radio on AM 950.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Allow me to give you a couple of the most important cleaning tips that you need to know. Vacuuming is not sufficient to maintain the cleanliness and lifespan of your carpet, period. My friends at Zero Res use their platinum-rated cleaning system that safely and effectively removes all that deeply embedded nasty dirt, dander, and bacteria. Not only does the patented Zero Res process clean better than anything on the market, surfaces dry faster, and your home and business will stay cleaner longer, guaranteed. July is National Carpet Cleaning Month, and because of that, check out this amazing deal Zero Res has going. Zero Res is offering 3 rooms starting at just $129 and get a 4th room free. It's also the perfect time of year to get your air ducts cleaned this month and take 20% off any air duct cleaning. Call 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special. That's Zero Res.
I'm Candy Broppel.
I'm Elizabeth Sullivan.
And I'm Kelly Wagner.
Energize yourself with AM 950's Sunday Shine Radio from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Sunday Shine Radio radiates wellness, consciousness, and curiosity.
Join me, Candy Broppel, for Green Tea Conversations at 10 a.m.
Exploring Sovereignty with Elizabeth at 11 a.m.
And the Being Curious Show at noon.
Our lineup focuses on igniting your own self-discovery and personal wellness.
Tune in every Sunday for Sunday Shine Radio from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
And let us guide you on an inspirational journey each week.
Turn to Auto Technical Vehicle Donation. Even though Auto Technical is a small nonprofit, we have helped more families with transportation than any organization in Minnesota. Since '94, we have reconditioned donated vehicles so they have a higher tax benefit. Call Richard at 612-919-5526, 612-919-5526, or autotech.org.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067, or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
Hi, I'm Kelly Kirk.
I'm Chad Larson.
And I'm Joe Kirk.
Your hosts for Searching for Service. Tune in to Rotary's influential show and podcast, sharing touching stories of service locally and abroad.
We bring you weekly guests that connect, inform, and inspire our listeners on all things service.
We highlight diverse service opportunities that appeal to both Rotarians and people driven to serve in their communities.
Tune in Sundays at 3 p.m. or anytime via podcast. It's time
to stop searching
and start serving.
And join us tomorrow on Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken. We're going to be doing one-question readings with psychic medium Char Savoy. That means that you can put a question in the comments and Char can answer it for you. It's always a lot of fun, well worth doing. Char is great, so we're going to be doing that tomorrow. Thursday, author Anna Marie Manolo is going to be on talking about her book, The Night Visitants. And Friday, we're not doing Casual Friday this week because we have the wonderful Mr. Sam Baltrusis on as we talk to him about his new book, Fueled by Fear, Lessons Learned While Chasing Ghosts. I hope you join us all week. But we also have the wonderful Daniel Roberge on, and we've been talking about the Echovox as well as the Ultravox. And there was a question that Nicole had. I thought that was really interesting and love to see your thoughts on it. She had asked, I would love to hear about the weirdest experience Daniel's had with Echovox or any paranormal equipment. Do you have something for us?
I honestly have like 100 of the weirdest. It's hard to pick one, but I know one real good one was I was doing an echo. This is right when it first made it. And I was in a room full of people, and it was kind of dark in the room, like the lights were real dim, and the Echovox was on the table, and it was running. And the house that I was in was really haunted. Like it was an active house, regardless of Echovox or no Echovox. And sitting there, and I'm so into what's coming out of the thing and listening to it. And then all of a sudden my shirt just gets yanked up on the side of me from below my waist to up past my armpit, just yanked with such force. It almost pulled me over. And I mean, there was nobody there. There was nothing to my left on that side, nothing. And of course the Echovox was saying stuff that correlated to what was happening, but that was pretty freaky.
That would be freaky. Now, Linda had asked, getting past the white noise, such as an SB7, has been a problem for her. She's being very empathic. She's very sensitive to noises. Has anyone had similar problems, been able to use the Echovox right away? And if I may, Daniel, only because you're the one that created it as a user, and Katie, I'd love your thoughts. I always thought that the Echovox is actually very, very quiet. Even when the echoes are swirling, it's nowhere near like the white noise on like an SB7 or something.
No, it's pretty clean, and you can make it as clean as you want to, because you can spread you can slow the channels way down.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's really it's really something. And as I'm let's see here real fast if I can even turn it on here. Let's see here if I can get something. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm talking to the device, actually. It's hard because it's through the radio, or through my mic. Hello? So this is not a great way to show someone. But can you hear, Daniel? Can you hear it at all?
Not really.
It's very quiet. It's very quiet. You know, and this is one of those things when I use like my SB7 or something like that, I'm using like an external speaker as well. I mean, I just think that anything that you can do to get the sound really out there is very important.
Yeah, the echo won't work if you don't use an external.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll just squeal.
Yeah. No, and let's see here. Linda also asks, how much talking does it take to build, what do you call it, a voice bank or a sound bank?
I mean, I'm not sure.
Because the thing is, the more you talk, I mean, I don't think we realize how many syllables we put out there when we're talking anyway, right? You know, I mean, that's a big part of it. So it's not like just any conversation. You're already talking quite a bit. A lot is being added already, I would assume.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no set time on, you know, you could make a 5-minute worth of talking bank, or you could have a bank where it has an hour worth of talking.
Yeah, no, and that's just it. But I mean, I think the key here is that you just play with it and you see what works for you anyway.
Yeah, it's very customizable.
Because no two people, like any kind of paranormal device, in my opinion, no two people are going to get the same results, no matter how much that they use or not use in the past. It's all about your individual user experience, I would think.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And that's the thing that is really kind of, I don't know. I mean, that's the great thing about it too. I mean, and I would suspect, don't get discouraged if you get the EchoVox. Don't get discouraged if you're not getting something right away either. You just got to keep trying and keep playing and go to the Facebook user group and see what people are doing and ask questions. I mean, this is one of those pieces of equipment, as we talked about earlier, that you do have to really kind of, you know, work at and really kind of fine tune to get it to where you want it to be.
And you have to go over your sessions too. You have to know how to edit audio, as in, like, you know, blow stuff up so it's louder, and, you know, increase the gain and things like that, or slow things down or reverse things. Because, I mean, I've gotten total responses there on my YouTube page where the response comes through in reverse, which don't make any sense at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whole sentences, and you can hear the guy's accent and everything. Got a New England accent, and the replies come in backwards, which I can't wrap my head around it.
That's pretty incredible. And I think the point you just made too is, like, you gotta listen to the stuff. You have to be able to edit it. I mean, and folks who don't know, something like Cool Edit is free. You know, Audacity is free, and you can just go find it, and from there just be able to do some editing. But you have to be able to do it. Now, really quick, because we have less than about a minute. Well, actually, we don't really have a lot of time left. You need an external to record the session, right? Like an external recorder?
No, it'll record in the EchoVox itself.
All right. We got to go. We're running out of time. Daniel, thank you very much for joining us tonight. This has been very awesome.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. We'll see you all tomorrow. Take care, everybody.
Hey, Minnesota, it's your favorite sexy liberal. Join me and my fellow cohorts in liberal justice weekdays from 8 to 11 on AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Located just north of 50th in France, the Great Wall Restaurant has provided a delicious taste of authentic Chinese cuisine since 1981, specializing in Szechuan and Peking dishes.